Right, hi guys. Here a little bit early. We'll be. Oh, I need to figure out what side of this I need to be. Here we go. The annoying thing with doing this stuff, as being someone who wears glasses, is I get a lot of reflection. I'm going to have to get some anti-reflective coating for my glasses, I think. So yeah, we're going to be talking today about why it doesn't pay to be a Magnolia landlord. Matthew, good to see you here. Rav, thanks for joining us. So before we get going, I'm playing around with a new tool today. Very cool bit of kit called StreamYard, which will hopefully, as you can see, it's brought up some quite nice little bits like, oh, no, like my name and our logo, wherever that is, trying to do, which is quite cool. And then hopefully we're going to be able to ping up some of your guys' comments if you come up with some interesting questions as we go through today. Russell, thanks for joining us. So yeah, can't believe it's Friday already. Don't know about the rest of you. Don't know where this week has gone. Absolutely flown by. Not that I'm complaining. But yeah, I think we're definitely starting to see some bit of uptake with the market now, with what's starting to happen. I think everyone's starting to get a little bit more used to the reality that is what we're living in now. So it's nice to see lots of people starting to plan and think about, what's ahead. And I think a really important part of that is how we choose to present our properties as letting agents, as landlords, as managing agents. So hopefully going to be talking through that a bit more today. Do feel free, guys, to ping in agency to helper here. Rob, good to have you on board. Howdy, howdy. Hello. So, feel free to ping in any questions, guys, once we get going. And I'm going to try and monitor those in here and answer those as best as I can. Oh, that's all right, Rav. That was your original spelling was closer than most people get anyway. So, well, the spelling of my name catches everybody out. If I had £1 for every time my name got misspelt, I'd be a very, very rich person. Cool. So we've got a couple of minutes left to go before we actually start the event. We'll just keep staying here. Just keep me rambling nonsense until we reach the allotted start time. Good to see. Cool. I'm quite excited to play with this bit of kit today. Quite a lot of fun. Back at you, Rav. So, yeah. Right, so we've got a couple more things. Someone else jumping in now. Up to 7. Be nice to try and get to at least 10 before we start talking. Hopefully, I'd love it. Hi, Deb. Good to try and get some landlords in here if we can. Let's hope. But I think any of you who are letting agents in here will probably reconcile quite a lot with what I'm going to talk about today. Because I know for us as agents, sort of presentation of property, investment into property to get it up to the right standard and get it looking right is very much a challenge. So I think it's definitely about helping landlords understand the cost, the value in investing back into a property. Rob, the backdrop is real. That's not a mock-up backdrop. That is really my home. Lots of brick, a funky monkey lamp. I'm going to take full credit for that. Carla, good to have you on. Cool. This is all going nicely. So we're nicely up into double digits, which is good. I was hoping to get past 10 before we went live, so that's great. Right, okay. So we are... Hannah's here. Great. Man cave. I wish, Rob. I wish I could have a man cave. Right. Well, we're at 1 o'clock and we're into double digits of viewers. So we will get going. So good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining me for the chat today. So what we're going to be talking about today is why it doesn't pay to be a magnolia landlord. So, I suppose the first question is, what do I mean by a magnolia landlord? If that isn't already really, really clear. I think we have all seen those properties. Whether you are looking to buy or whether you are looking to rent, I fundamentally actually don't see any difference here. A lot of this advice will apply to sellers as much as it does to landlords. But we've all seen those properties where you walk into... and there's nothing wrong with them. You know, they've got 4 walls, they've got a ceiling, the size is all right. But in terms of the style, the spec, the finish of the property itself and the contents of the property, it is at best dull. And I think all too often landlords default to that position. I think a landlord's thinking is often comes from sort of a few key points on that. A, what's cheap and easy? It's very easy to paint a property cream or white and do super neutral furniture and sort of justify to yourself that it's not a good idea to overstyle it. I think also another viewpoint with landlords is, if I paint the walls magnolia, it's fine and get a blemish on it. I can just buy a pot of paint. It's not tricky. I can patch that up. If the sofa breaks after a few years, it's a nondescript sofa. I can chuck it out. I can get rid of it. I think that's the sort of default mindset for a lot of landlords. But I think at the same time, a lot of those landlords are constantly asking themselves the question, why aren't I getting more rent? Why don't my tenants look after my property better? Why don't tenants stay in my property longer? And why does it take so long for my property to rent? Why do I always have voids? So those are the 4 key issues, right, that most landlords consider or worry about with a property. And actually pretty much all of those can be tackled by how you go about presenting your property. So I think you just really need to think about, again, I think it's that old chestnut of, I think you really have to put yourself in the shoes of other people to really appreciate what it is you're offering to them. And I think, at the end of the day, this isn't really any different to any other area, whether you talk about going on holiday, whether you're talking about a home you're buying for yourself. I mean, even going into more luxury items, what car you want, what clothes you wear, what watch you want, what aftershave you buy. I think at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what are the things that make you want a product? What are the things that make you want to pay or be willing or happy or even excited to pay a premium because a product presents itself in a really beautiful luxury way? And fundamentally, property is no different, right? It's all about selling a lifestyle. It's all about selling it's all about selling that lifestyle, really. So look, I've pulled together some photos. I'm going to try and share this. This is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be the first time I've done this on this new platform, but I'm going to try and share some images with you guys. So we're going to jump across to here. I'm going to share that with you. We're going to pull up. I'm going to pull up that. Hold on 1 minute. Is this now? Is this da da da? Okay, so this is interesting. So hopefully now, I'm just going to double check you guys can still see me. Yes, you can. Right, let me bring that one back up. So I'm just going to whir you through some images. And look, none of this is really rocket science, right? I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because I think the message is pretty clear, you know, and apologies for the quality of photos. They do jump around in size. Bit more preparation would have helped on my side. But yeah, let's just whip through these. So, you know, you're booking a hotel. Are you going to want to stay in this room? Or are you going to want to stay in that room? Are you going to want to stay in that hotel? Or this hotel? That hotel? Or this hotel? I mean, hotels and villas, holiday accommodation, I think are particularly expert at this. They're really, really good at capturing the lifestyle of your holiday. But I fundamentally don't think that the lifestyle of a home you live in should be any different. It's about appealing to people's tastes and wants. So this was a property I just looked up. This is being marketed by an agent. I think this is nearly £2,000 a month. Do you want to live in that living room? Or do you want to live in that one? You know, I mean, again, so apologies. Some of these photos have come through a bit thumbnaily. There's a bedroom. So going on from that, I think, you know, the question is, you know, what can you achieve without going mental? So I've pulled off a series of photos here and I'm going to jump onto their website afterwards. Now, look, I appreciate not every landlord, not every letting agent is an interior designer. Some of you might have a really strong idea about how you want to dress your property. I think what's really important is you need to actually start your journey by understanding who is your prime target as a tenant. I think, you know, fundamentally this comes down to the basics of marketing, and whether you're putting out a new breakfast cereal, a luxury watch, or a new home, I think the same thing rings true. Who is your prime target? What is that profile? So, you know, let's say for this apartment, it might be a couple in their mid-30s with a household income of over 50 grand, no kids. They're looking for something that is pretty design-led and nice and easy to move into. So this was a property that was passed to a company called Home Wings, who do like a remote interior design service. And so this is what the shell looked like when they first got it. And this is what they converted that space into. You know, they haven't done anything architecturally. They've just dressed it. And, you know, you can already see, you know, which one of those would you be willing to go and have a look at and take? Which one of those would you be more willing to pay a higher price for? Which one of those would you be more keen to be living in? I don't think any of these questions are difficult. Again, this is a property, perfectly reasonable. Yes, you know, you look at that and you go, oh, okay, you know, good size room, high ceilings, etc., etc., big dining table. But again, not attractive. That's attractive. That's the dining room I want to be in. And that's the dining room I would want to pay. I'd be willing to pay 10, even 20% more for. It's exactly the same size. You know, it's just a bit about dressing. You know, again, same property, actually. This was their living space. And that's the living space afterwards. Amazing what a bold choice in color can create. You know, fundamentally, they've not done much in the room. A bit of bold color, couple of striking bits of furnishing, and all of a sudden you're creating a lifestyle statement about that room. Now, again, new build property, pretty simple. This is an interesting one because, again, it's just about a little bit of furniture choice. That's a pretty average sort of living room in a new build rental property. And look, what a little bit of dressing. Nice, again, nice bold color choice, bit of artwork on the walls, bit of soft cushions, a bit of dressing, a bit of lifestyle. Short-term lets seem to have really got their head around this. I mean, again, here we go. Beautiful luxury property, just been built. Okay, it's got a bag on the counter, but, you know, photo's fine, does what it says on the tin. Would you rather live there or there? I know which one shouts home to me. I actually want to go in and jump on that sofa. You know, again, this is a really good one. So this is a property that's being marketed for rent. Now, this one, actually, when we see the next photo, you'll see there's not actually that much difference in terms of what's in the room. Just a little bit of dressing, a little bit of decluttering, and there you go. So it's a nice bit. They've got rid of the desk. They've tidied up things a little bit of decluttering, but actually they've brought more in, more lifestyle stuff, books on the shelves, pastries on the table. Again, it's all about painting that picture of how you're going to live in that property. So I'll come out of that. I'll actually just quickly share, because I talked about them. So this is the company where I pulled a lot of photos off. Now, like I said, if you find interior design or styling your property a little bit overwhelming, but at the same time, you don't have an enormous budget, you're not looking at spending 25 grand to reinvent the interior of your property. Companies like Home Wings are brilliant. So you come in here, what they do a series of sort of online design consultations where basically you can give them the details of your property, kind of budget you're looking to achieve, and they will come back and they will give you, so here we go, let's see a real example. They will give you a design brief. So they will give you a full mock-up of how that space is meant to look. So, you know, you've got before photos uploaded in here. Ta-da, it's the one we saw. Then they'll populate some ideas. So they'll work with you to sort of say, oh, you know, we think this is a really good demographic. This is a really good style to go for. They'll deliver a concept, even up to sort of furnishings. And if you want, they can project manage it. Now, you don't have to go to this stage. If you want a concept, you can take over. You can run that project yourself. You've got a design. You've got a color palette. You've got styles of furnishings. I mean, these guys are great. You can pretty much order everything through them if you want to. But there's no need. You can get the design brief and then go off and do all your normal stuff yourself. So I'm going to stop screen sharing that now so you don't see me on echo. And I am back. So, look, I think it is really... It all comes down to lifestyle, right? I think as landlords, you've got to stop looking at a rental property and coming from the mindset of what is the least I can spend to do something. Now, look, at the same time, I appreciate if your property rents for, well, what's the UK average is something like £880 a month. Yeah. So let's be honest, if you're getting, let's call it £900 a month, you're not going to go and buy an £8,000 sofa to put in a property like that. And obviously that goes without saying. However, nowadays there are so many companies at different price ranges who do imitation furniture where it will look very close. You know, that you'll have a designer sofa at £8,000. You will have a company that does a very similar style sofa for 1,500 quid, but you're getting that same look. Great. You know, it's the look, it's the lifestyle, it's the perception of how people are going to be of the property and what their life is going to be like living in that property. That is what is going to bring in the inquiries. That is what is going to get people through the door. Now, as an agent, we've been saying to our landlords for years, you want to make quite a bold choice with your property. Ideally, it needs to sort of be on trend, although, you know, you need to be careful with on trend because you don't want your property to become outdated too quickly and have to redo this too soon. But don't be afraid of making bold choices. The point is, if you present a magnolia property, if you present a property that tenants walk into and they're like, yeah, you know, it's fine. It's got 2 double bedrooms. It's got 2 bathrooms and it's in my budget. You'll get a deal. You know, eventually somebody will rent it at a fair and reasonable price. But you're never going to get anyone passionate about that. You're never going to get people fighting over that. What you really want is, it doesn't matter if some people hate your property. That's fine. You actually want to create a Marmite property. Because what you want through that door is you want someone to come in and, well, you want more than someone. The winner is you have at least 2 people who love that property. And the point is, if your property is not only stylized different to anything else, but also if you're the one in your local market really taking that step to create that sort of Instagram home, that quality lifestyle appearance of your property, guess what? There's not a lot to choose from. You know, they've got a choice between yours and going back to Magnolia. So what you want is you want at least 2 people who love your property, because when heart takes over mind for a tenant, that's when you as a landlord win, because then it's not about, oh, you know, the average rent in this area for a 2-bed is £1,000 a month. I'm not paying more than that. It becomes, I want to live in that home. I'll pay £1,200 a month to live in that home. I don't care. There's nothing else like it. I will pay that extra £200 a month because I want that lifestyle. I want to move in to that home, sit on that sofa. I want friends to come round for dinner parties and coo over what an amazing place I live in. I want to be able to post cool photos on my social media. I want it to represent who I am as an individual generally within that sort of space. So yeah, look, guys, don't be afraid to post questions as well. I can see the odd comment coming in, but if there's anything I'm not covering, do please post some questions in here, and I will any good ones that come up, I'll try and share them and try and address them. So what does having a beautiful and exciting interior do for you as a landlord? So we've already talked on the first one. The first one is the obvious one. Create the appearance of a premium property. And if you're clever, you can do it without spending much more than you would on a standard refurb. Just some clever color choices, you know, doing some clever things like putting in a standard kitchen, but putting some really nice little handles on the cupboards. Or, you know, rather than putting in your bog standard laminate, spending that extra 20% and getting something that looks super on trend and gives you that clean look that you want. It's hopefully also a good quality product you're going to get some good endurance out of. But so first and foremost, what a beautiful home is going to get you, if you get it right, is a beautiful home is going to get you a premium rent. And I don't know a single landlord out there that doesn't want to make more rent. So first and foremost, that's what you get. What you also get is, because you drive up the desirability of the property, what we're now looking at is you having multiple people competing for a property. And so that does one of two things. That, again, helps with objective one, which is driving up the rent that you achieve on your property. But it gives you option two, which is the ability to have a choice in which tenant you decide to proceed with. You know, if you've got 2, 3, 4 tenants actively bidding over a property, not only are you getting good bids, but you don't have to go with the biggest bid that you get. Not at all. You might look at that and go, do you know what? I've had some problems with tenants before. You know, tenants 3, although they've offered £50 a month less than the highest offer, they've actually offered £50 a month over the list price. And not only that, when I look at them, their income to rent ratio is the highest. They earn more than 3 times the rent. The likelihood they're going to default is tiny. So actually, I'm going to go with them. Or you might speak to all of them and just pick. If you self-manage as a landlord, you might say, look, I want to talk to all the offers are good. I want to talk to all of them. And you go with the one that you get the most rapport with. There is a lot to be said for choice of tenant. Be that whether you're looking at a technical sort of criteria that they meet, or whether, like I said, it's a more of a personality thing. You know, that's the reality. Now, again, so those are 2 good things. So premium rent, choice of tenant. Thirdly, if your property is unique, the bottom line is, unless that person needs to move out of that location, what is going to make that person want to move out of your property? If you're delivering something that is very unique, very high end, and delivers on that lifestyle appeal, guess what? You're going to keep those tenants longer. And the longer you keep those tenants, the lower your voids are. So the more revenue you generate per calendar year. I don't know a landlord that isn't keen to keep their property full as much as humanly possible. And not only that, when it comes to reletting your property, again, because your property is unique, because it's desirable, you're going to have people queuing up to take that property as soon as it is available. So I know at base, we now mandate that we have a 3-day void between our tenancies. We've felt that is just that's what we need to make sure that property transition goes the way we feel it should, and that we hand that property over to the new tenants the way it is. But that's actually a new thing we've done. For the last 15 years, we've been lining tenancies up back to back. We've got landlords who we've been looking after for over a decade who haven't had a single day without rental income because their properties are so well presented. We put it on the market. We have a bunch of people wanting to take it. And we line those people up to go straight in off the back of the vacating tenants. So yeah, we've seen that pay out. And then finally, something that sort of was already covered in my earlier one, by having your choice of tenant, you can also make sure that you're picking, or you can choose your tenant based on who you feel is going to be the most secure option for you. I know a lot of landlords worry about rent defaults, and I think that is even more true nowadays in the current climate, with obviously job security a concern for so many, and et cetera, et cetera. So, this again gives the ability to attract the highest caliber of tenants possible for your property, which will hopefully mean that they will stay there longest. And then the last thing that we come back to on that is care, upkeep, and maintenance costs. You put a tenant into a property that they love and they're proud about, guess what? They're going to want to keep it looking nice, and they're going to want to keep being proud. They're going to want to have those friends around for dinner parties and house parties, garden parties, whatever the property prefers. We all love our parties, but they want those friends to come around and coo over their property. I don't think there's anyone out there that doesn't love someone coming around and going, "Oh my God, your house is lovely. What a lovely living room." So the likelihood is the better you present the property, the better that tenant is going to look after that property for you, and therefore the lower longer term maintenance costs you're going to have. So just to quickly recap that before I come around to a question we've got come up. So creating a beautiful, attractive property without going mad. We're just talking about color choices, clever furniture, good light fittings, and a bit of styling for your sort of marketing content. And again, whether you do that privately or work with your agent, they should be very collaborative with that. You should achieve a higher rent with reduced or eliminated voids, with your pick of tenant on personality and caliber, and they should look after your property as well better, meaning lower maintenance costs. So more money, more of the time, less hassle, less overheads. If you can tell me a landlord and or managing agent that doesn't want that on each and every one of their properties, I'd love to meet them, quite frankly, and I'd love to know what it is they do want. So I think it's moving away from this mindset of what is the minimum we can do and really thinking about, if that product was put in front of you, what would that be? So I'm going to try and share a question we've had come in here from Hannah. So here we go. Hannah, how would you approach improving the appeal if you have a small space? Really good question. So there are some really good blogs and sites out there that specialize in the sort of micro home space. You've got obvious sort of brands like Grand Designs and things like that. But you've got George Clark's Amazing Spaces. Go on there, check that out. They've done some amazing projects on there. Some really cool ideas about how you can maximize storage. With small spaces, it's often about storage space, clever storage space, decluttering. Ceiling height helps. If you've got a small footprint but high ceilings, that can often make a space feel better. Light, making a place feel bright and airy and fresh will often make a space feel larger than it actually is. A common misperception as well is that people often think by marketing a property without furniture in it, it looks bigger. That is only true if your property is absolutely enormous. And then I think you almost go against yourself, because you end up making a home or a warehouse look like an airport hangar. But furniture gives perspective. When people look at stuff online, people always, and actually in the physical space, people always imagine their furniture to be bigger than it actually is. So it's always best, if you can, if your market is a furnished market, even if it's not. I've seen people do some really clever things. So I've seen people, they don't want to go out and splash out on a bed, but they want to show how a double bed fits in there. So I've seen people make a double bed out of cardboard boxes, and then dress it with a sheet and a duvet. So it actually looks like a bed. It gives the room proportion. And then, you know, when they find a tenant, the cardboard boxes get flat packed, go in the recycling, bedding goes home, done and dusted. Anything that helps present a room and understand how that works. But there's lots of really clever tricks with small spaces. Mirrors are obviously another good thing. They instantly make a space feel bigger. I know sometimes I've looked at listings online and gone, oh my God, that's enormous. And then it's only at a closer look that I've realized that one whole wall is a mirror, and actually it's half the size of what I thought it was. So those would be my immediate top tips on making a small one look bigger, so to speak. Property I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, look, there's lots of architectural journals out there. There is, you know, don't be afraid to go and get inspiration for what you're doing. I mean, I love things like Living, etc., which has some, you know, really cool interiors. Dwell, D-W-E-L-L, they have amazing projects from all over the world. Obviously, like I said, some of the others I've already mentioned, Grand Designs, George Clark's Amazing Spaces. You know, go out there. Don't be afraid to look at high-end stuff. You'd be amazed at what you can achieve to replicate. You know, I've seen people replicate interiors that in high-end properties that cost clients £50,000, £100,000 a room, and I've seen people go off and create a very similar look and feel for 10% of that price. You know, by just making really clever color choices for the palette of the room. Like I said before, going out and sourcing suppliers who effectively do knockoff replica designer furniture for a fraction of the price. Yes, the build quality is not going to be the same. We all know that. But again, it comes back to selling a lifestyle. So that's really it from me, guys. I can see that we're approaching the last couple of minutes of this. Any more questions about this? I mean, do like I said, do go and check out that Home Wings website. There are also other suppliers. You've got the likes of David Phillips, Hatch Interiors. I'm not going to mention too many. There's a lot of companies out there who specialize in furnishing and dressing rental properties. A lot of the good operations there actually do have interior design services. So whether you want to engage their full service or not, I'm sure most of those companies would happily give you a little bit of advice about, this is a really cool on trend, or here's a flat that we did and the color schemes that we used in it for another client. So there are lots of options out there. I'd also say, look, get online, see what you find appealing. Airbnb is a brilliant space for inspiration. There's some amazing properties on there. And again, look at what properties pop out to you. What are the photos? What are the lead photos that make you want to click on a property? You know, do you notice that the property that always leads with a bathroom one, you don't really click on, but the ones that have a shot of the view, that's the property that you want to jump on first? Does that align with what people are going to want from your home? So yeah, just thinking about once you've created that beautiful interior, how you maximize that. So that is really it for me now, guys. I can't see any other questions coming in. We are going to obviously be sharing this video after. So if you haven't caught me doing this live and you're watching it back, do please still engage with us. We've got the comments section. So I keep on dodging around trying to get this reflection off my face. Do please send us comments. If you do have questions, do please engage with our post. We will get back to you. If you want some help, advice, anything like that, do look up some of the companies we've talked about. Do go on their websites. Do check out stuff. You know, and if you work with another letting or managing agent in your local area, talk to them. You know, most agents will happily support you through this. Bottom line is, all of the things we talked about don't just benefit you, they benefit your agent as well. So any agent worth their salt is going to want to get on this journey with you and help you create those super desirable properties that achieve the best possible return. So that's it. That is why it doesn't pay to be a Magnolia landlord. I want to thank all of you for joining me today and for your time. And yeah, hope you're enjoying the content from Agents Here to Help. Do check out all the other content on there. There's loads of exciting stuff, from why you need a buying agent to how you facilitate maintenance issues during the Corona crisis, and tons of other stuff. I think we've already got about 15 videos and lots more to come. So do engage with that. Do share it. Do comment. Do engage with the people who've done those posts. We're here to help. We're here to engage with you, and we're here to answer your questions. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have an amazing weekend, and hopefully chat to you guys soon. All the best. Bye.